It hasn't been for that long of a time that I've been regarding Instagram as an apparent music group discovery outlet. It's especially fascinating for somebody of my position who, extrinsic to any video publication websites I participate in, is generally absent on social media elsewhere. I do need to improve on that for sure, but even amidst my lack of presence, I'm the one who gets hit by a deluge of recommendations to new names. And with Instagram's regard, it might be due to algorithmic weight that they look at my account and go, well, 90% of the people you follow, with some outliers, are music artists, so here you go for sponsored ads. Fresh names routinely. And it really is like a dump of people. But I catalog those recommendations perhaps for future music considerations. I've said before in the past of music coverage, it is a goal of mine to highlight fresh names, and I've made good on this in the past from time to time, and I plan to grow on this, in the near future. And we have another testament as proof of this today with ATHEREUM, but that's just one mechanism again of discovery. There's another of Instagram that's a little more rare for me, and that's through the occasional and frequent account follow, which, again, like I said, I'm not the most active user there, but sometimes I take a look at my following account and it goes maybe up by 1 or 2 over a set number of months. And that's either due to incoming bots, which Instagram does have that problem, or through maybe an occasional follow from one of you, that's been the case in the past, or through a band incoming. For some reason, that's how I get connected with some names. And ATHEREUM's not the first testament to this either. Silent King was in the past. I covered them a while back, and that's how I was introduced as well for an Instagram follow. I wouldn't have found them probably elsewhere, or maybe I would have, but it would have taken longer. ATHEREUM came my way for a similar regard, and I wonder if maybe it's algorithmic destiny. I don't know. It could have been the band, I have no idea. But it's funny to me when I dig deeper with this group and I try to get an understanding, which they're relatively fresh on, very much like I said, emerging artist capacity. We, in fact, are going to be investigating the debut single / visualizer that accompanied with the upcoming album release, whenever it is, of Ascended Masters. This is going to be the first song that we witnessed from it, perhaps together for the first time. Maybe some of you have witnessed this. I'm covering this a couple days late. And I apologize for that. I meant to be up more on the ball with this, but maybe some of you have heard this in preparation going in. So your account will be more familiarized than mine and perhaps many others who are experiencing this very much simultaneously for a first-time entertainment. But if you want a good background on ATHEREUM and you want to get a good understanding on connection, right? Maybe what brought me in. Because automatically I'm like, okay, on pitch, this is quite enticing. I consider my favorite sides within the music world, and I keep an open door policy to really anything, and perhaps in consideration of witness, but I have favorite pathways. For example, I've been a metalhead of many years, and in that capacity, symphonic metal has a particular chord of me and adjacency that I just cannot get enough of. Many groups are, of course, testament to this, and ATHEREUM is the newest edition. And that's what on sound we're going to be getting. Again, like I said, band thesis, according to their handle, epic, orchestral, symphonic, visionary metal. I had to look up that last one. Like, is that a particular subset like symphonic metal? I don't think it is. I just, on light research and the lack thereof of a result, I'm assuming that's an implication to the band direction independently, that they are very much a contemplative, complex group on narrative investigation and perhaps theming, which this song will be going in the direction of. And this sounds quite cool. So if you, again, good background going in. We're about to entertain the song together, and I'm looking forward to taking that encounter with you. As I've said many times, music I think is better enjoyed collaboratively. It's, a thesis of mine, generally speaking, here to highlight good art and to provide opportunities that we can be introduced to things mutually. But I think it enriches the music listening process rather than just enjoying it in isolation, to humor those first experiences together. And if I can provide paths for you to discover new artists, that I'm very much doing for myself on occasion, and ATHEREUM is a classification of that. So again, thesis of Karma Bound, as I understand, this will be, the album, Ascended Masters in general. This is going to be a deep dive into the esoteric world, I'm running by the description on the official video posting on YouTube, of, the esoteric world of spiritual experiences that transcend life and death. Doesn't that just sound contemplative? Again, I love sophistication and depth in music, especially in symphonic metal. There's so many groups I can think of that are a testament of that depth and narrative exploration in very unique ways. And ATHEREUM is going to be the newest edition that we humor. I'm really curious to hear this, right? How broad does it go? What types of narratives are evoked by the songs? And how do we connect with them, right? What is the investigation? Where is that storyline going to take us? And we could all come from a variety of perspectives, right? I consider spiritual experiences. I consider I've been open disclosure in the past. I come from a Christian background. Really, in any content I address, it's just a particular foundation of the way I view life and philosophy that I don't know if that's going to mix into the album, but I kind of like explorations like that, and plus it's kind of fun to study, different types of cultures and expressions or philosophies and spirituality, and to hear different narrative structures highlighted. Let's see which direction Karma Bound takes together. Well, it's kind of directed by the name, I would think. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, it could go a number of ways. I'm curious, though, to investigate it alongside all of you for the first time. Perhaps, again, like I said, maybe some departures, but generally I imagine most of us, considering ATHEREUM is still very much up and coming. With some there's not been one song or artist I've not loved highlighting. Let's see if this trend continues. I imagine it would. Just on faith. I've never been disappointed. I think we might be in for something special. Again, you tell me symphonic metal, I'm automatically on board. So here we go. Hang on. All right. Good dimension on the opener. Softer T's. Mixed. It's really nice, actually. Higher lightness to it. Delicate ambient vocals. I really like this. It's reminiscent of a lot of other symphonic talents I love. Those vocal bases are just deeply transfixing, and just how smooth it is. This is really interesting. These higher synth cues really work. And it's a mixture I find pretty fresh, because some might think, at least on humoring, on entrance, it would be that it would be a distraction, or not a distraction, disassociated shift, and yet the blend here is clicking. If you're trying to go for more of an ancient mood, again, like I said, with the philosophy direction of the song, the mood of the vocals and the application is really evoking it nicely. Not bad at all. I love it. Those trails of the vocal echoes really work. Mixed expertly. And again, the pacing on the synth, the more metallic edge to them, again, it's working. I'm really liking this. I've said many times, something so special about emerging talent first encounters, and we have never witnessed. Oh, that's beautiful. And on the rap, too. What is the name of the album again? Let me look this up. Ascended Masters. A lot of potential with that. It's so funny to me. And I've mentioned this routinely with regard to symphonic metal. It amazes me how many traits and how many different tools are brought into a song that you meditate just on a temptation of what you're about to witness, and you think, this sounds disorienting, right? Let's say by comparison, just make an analogy of a song I have yet to get to in coverage, but one I know. It's going to be a reintroduction when we get to it. But Zondria, a German symphonic metal band, love them. Call of Destiny, for example, on the opener. You'd think, because again of the symphonic metal direction, a harsher song, harder riffs, and it has that. With strings, opera, again, so you can start to see, like, how do these things fit together? And then synths. It's such a creative song, though, on blend, that you think on entrance, like, how is this mix match going to work? Especially for somebody who's never humored symphonic metal before, and you're like, okay, you might be led to believe on first appearances that there won't be a cohesion, that the elements will be disorienting and depart from one another. And yet, routinely, what I see in symphonic metal is this frequent mixture of it. It's just such a perfect melding. ATHEREUM's another example of this. Or is it ATHEREUM or ATHEREUM? Feel free to comment down below if you're familiarized on the pronunciation. I try and be correct, and I'll try and see if I can get some clarification on that as well going forward to our next developments. And again, as I always say with certain groups, any open door policy. ATHEREUM, that applies as well. I cannot wait to hear more. This is some of the most sufficient mixing I think I've heard on direction and on mood evoking. This is incredible to me. We consider the mood evoked by the pitch to Ascended Master if this is going to be, as I specified earlier, per the description, a deep dive into spirituality and investigations of life and death, something a little more philosophical and ethereal in nature, maybe more of like a fantasy appearance. And you consider the way the mood in music might evoke that. This is perfect. There's this twinge to it that on entrance, again, like I said, it starts up soft and there's this nice build up, and then there's a switch with the harder riff. So there you have the metal direction. So again, it feels sufficient on every facet that the song necessitates development on. And there's even variants on sound and energy direction within symphonic metal. There are songs that dive more into a ballad side, and there are others that are a little more like headbang harsh. This is a good mixture. It plays of both tones expertly, in a way that perfectly evokes, again, a fantastical feel. That the pitch to the song is embodied not just in the narrative, which I didn't clue into as well, because, again, the music is, I'm not saying that as a diss in any way, the song in craftsmanship is so captivating, and on structure, and even on vocal presence. Their lead vocalist sounds great. I love the natural lightness in her voice. And again, like I said, we're evoking a mood here, not just in music direction, but also in vocal placement. And the duet was a nice surprise, too. Beautiful, beautiful harmony. Even, I say harmony and I immediately regard my mind, well, there's also some harsh screams in there, too. Like I said, a blending that on appearances you think, how's this going to work? And it routinely does with symphonic metal. Again, there's been so many testaments to this. And the management, though, on ATHEREUM, again, like I said, first debut single, first appearances here, for at least what I familiarized to. I don't know if there's been anything previous. I don't think there was. I'm pretty sure we were looking at the initial development. To see this spark and to consider where it might extend going forward. As a foundational introduction work, I think Karma Bound sets a really nice level of superiority and advancement, and on prediction of where this band could eventually reach. We're going to explore that together. As I said, keep an open door, and I cannot wait to witness more alongside you on First Witness. But we consider the different directions of what symphonic metal might necessitate, and what a band envisions, what their pitch might be to a song, and how they create it for music. Some songs demand, again, an interweaving. This piece, when I consider all the diversified elements and how it plays well into symphonic metal familiarity for me, different mainstream elements, told differently, though. I still come back to those synths on Evolution 2, and the really, like, metallic, I don't know if I want to say chimes. To me seems a little more intense, but something of that vein, just again of a really light pinging. Even when you pair it again to associations between different types of cultures and life and death philosophies or other religions and worldviews, there's just something there that connects. It's, again, like I said, you want to evoke a mood, and they did so perfectly. And that individuality for the group, I would say it's the command here, and the styling is a bit individual from what I've personally heard. Maybe there's some groups that acted as inspirations to them that I have not yet been introduced to that might have similar evokings on sound quality, maybe some of which you recognize if you're witnessing this one. You're like, oh, I know that group or that group, they kind of play around with similar agents. But it's a first witness for me. This is a song that has great direction to it. In structuring, on not only vocal involvement, the duet, again, was just beautiful, and mixing it between the screams and the harsh, and having the male vocalist as well kind of dart between, depending again on the song's direction, from the harsh scream back into a natural vocals, again, with a beautiful harmony to their lead female vocalist. I love the ethereal nature to her voice. It just perfectly worked, again, like I said, on mood evoking. We consider the development of a song as necessitated by both a symphonic metal regard and the band's independent vision, what perhaps they state, or just what they're thinking of at the time, whether it be on narrative or score development. I'd say this is a perfect package, it seems, of everything. I need to dig deeper into the narrative first, but again, I'm primarily regarding the song here from what I could witness. This is a really strong foundation, in my opinion. Plenty of diversified symphonic metal agents at play in some independent ways, and in others, mainstream expertise. I'm really curious to take a deep dive going forward of more from them. I'd love to hear if that opinion is echoed of you down below. I said before, music is really, in general, is true of art. You know, it's a subjective experience per the listener, right? So maybe you have your own individual thoughts on the piece. I'd love to hear about it down below, as well as your familiarity to ATHEREUM. Have you heard this piece of preparation to humoring it with me, or is this a first introduction for you to the group? And are you curious to dig deeper? For sure I will. I'm looking forward to hearing more. Again, if Common Bound is a good first taste, I think we're going to be in for something special of development of Ascended Masters. I've said many times, emerging artists, I've continually had this regard. I've never been disappointed with one song or one artist. The trend continues here. But especially on the emerging artist regard, there's something so beautiful about investigating fresh talents, because you see this independent creativity. And there's fun, times we had of mainstream groups as well. I'm not trying to, override or overlook anybody, for sure. And we've had plenty of encounters of that in the past, but I do have a really special place in my heart for emerging talents that are really proving themselves on a first taste, and Common Bound goes above and beyond. I'm looking forward to hearing more from ATHEREUM in the future, for absolute sure. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.